If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns find themselves in a fascinating and high-stakes situation heading into the 2025 NFL season, with Deshaun Watson once again sidelined by a devastating Achilles injury, his second rupture. In less than 2 years, the franchise has been forced into survival mode at the most important position on the field, quarterback. Instead of placing all their hopes on a single replacement, the Browns have taken a bold, if not desperate, approach. They've assembled a unique and crowded quarterback room featuring 4 legitimate candidates, each with a different story, style, and potential. Joe Flacco, the seasoned veteran and former Super Bowl MVP, brings experience and leadership. Kenny Pickett, the once hyped Steelers project, arrives with something to prove. Then there are the 2 rookies, Dillon Gabriel, the dynamic Oregon product taken 94th overall, and Shedeur Sanders, son of the legendary Deion Sanders, who slipped to pick 144 despite a stellar college career with the Colorado Buffaloes. The battle lines are drawn, and training camp will be a war of attrition. As exciting as this quarterback competition might be on paper, it's also an unsustainable setup for the long haul. No NFL team realistically carries 4 quarterbacks into the regular season, especially when one of them is a healthy Deshaun Watson under contract. For Cleveland, that means tough decisions must be made, likely sooner than later. While coach Kevin Stefanski is known for his methodical and strategic decision-making, the front office will be weighing not just who wins the job, but what they can get in return for those who don't. The quarterback market is always in flux, and timing is crucial. Enter the Tennessee Titans, a franchise now scrambling after losing Will Levis for the year due to a season-ending shoulder surgery. The Titans were already taking a risk by handing the reins to a young and relatively unproven quarterback, but with Levis out, their QB room has become one of the worst in the NFL. Suddenly, Cleveland has leverage, and that kind of leverage can lead to trades that benefit both sides, according to Sportsnaut's Jason Burgos. Now is the perfect time for the Browns to explore a deal. With Tennessee in dire need of a competent backup or even a temporary starter, Cleveland has exactly what they need, excess. Whether it's Flacco with his rock-solid veteran presence or Pickett, a former first-rounder with starting experience, the Titans could do far worse than either option. This isn't about making a blockbuster move, it's about supply and demand. And the Browns are sitting on a valuable supply while the Titans are drowning in desperation. The reality is, even getting a mid to late round draft pick in exchange for one of these quarterbacks would be a smart move. Every team needs flexibility in the offseason, and Cleveland can't afford to waste roster space on QBs who won't see the field come week 1. From a football standpoint, Flacco makes the most immediate sense for the Titans. He's calm under pressure, familiar with big moments, and capable of keeping a team afloat while they figure out their long-term future. He proved last season, in a late stretch with the Browns, that he still has the arm and IQ to compete. Pickett, on the other hand, represents a younger, developmental asset, someone who might appeal to Tennessee's front office if they believe a change of scenery could unlock his potential. The draft picks Cleveland could get in return might not set the world on fire, but as Burgos points out, even a 4th rounder for Pickett or a 6th for Flacco would help the Browns recoup assets. After using the selections in this year's draft on quarterbacks, it's about turning redundancy into value, and few front offices manage that better than Andrew Berry's. As for the rookies, both Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders have shown flashes that could make this competition even more intriguing. Gabriel has reportedly earned extra reps with his crisp execution and steady improvement during OTA letters, while Sanders has drawn the most praise for his poise, decision-making, and natural leadership. If either rookie continues trending upward during training camp, the Browns may decide to fast-track their development and clear the way by parting with one of the veterans. It would be an aggressive move, but sometimes aggressiveness wins championships. And with Watson's return timeline still murky, Cleveland may need to roll the dice now rather than later. There's also the matter of morale. For quarterbacks fighting for one job is a recipe for tension, especially among veterans used to starting. Thinning the room would clarify roles and reduce distractions. Meanwhile, Tennessee is in a completely different headspace. They entered the offseason hoping to build stability around Will Levis and give their offense some semblance of consistency. That plan has been blown up by his injury, and the options currently on their depth chart are far from inspiring. If the Titans want to remain competitive, especially in a division that features rising powers like the Jaguars and Texans. They can't afford to punt the season away. Trading for a capable QB from Cleveland could be their best, and perhaps only, option. The Titans have a solid offensive line, a dependable running game, and a young, fast defense. What they lack now is a quarterback who can manage the game and avoid costly mistakes. Flacco or Pickett could offer that, even in a short-term capacity, and give the coaching staff some peace of mind heading into the season. It's important to remember that NFL success often comes down to timing. Injuries, contracts, and draft picks all create windows of opportunity that can be fleeting. For the Browns, this moment is one such window. They don't need for quarterbacks, especially when they could be developing one rookie while grooming another. Trading away Flacco or Pickett doesn't mean giving up on them. It means maximizing their value before it depreciates. Quarterback controversies are only fun when they lead to wins. Otherwise, they're distractions. Cleveland has built a deep and talented roster, one capable of making a playoff run even without Watson, provided they make the right call under center. Turning a surplus into a strategic advantage could be the move that puts them over the top. It's not about who they lose, it's about what they gain. In the end, whether it's Flacco's experience or Pickett's potential that ends up being expendable, the Browns hold the cards. Stefanski will continue to evaluate every throw, every read, and every rep. But once a pecking order is established, the rest becomes business. That business could very well include a phone call to Nashville, where the Titans are waiting, perhaps even hoping for a lifeline. For the Browns, this is the rare scenario where they can shape their future while helping another team in the process. And let's be honest, no team ever complains about collecting extra draft capital. It's currency in the NFL, it's flexibility. It's a hedge against the unknown. Cleveland has earned the right to be strategic. Now, it's about execution. And with the clock ticking toward preseason games, the time to act is now, of course. This situation also speaks volumes about the volatility of the quarterback position in today's NFL. Injuries are inevitable, expectations are sky high, and depth is everything. Teams that prepare for chaos survive it. That's what the Browns have done. But preparation without follow-through is meaningless. Eventually, a decision must be made. And if that decision involves sending a quarterback to Tennessee in exchange for a mid-round pick and a clearer depth chart, then so be it. The future of the Browns doesn't lie in having for quarterbacks, it lies in having the right quarterback. And by dealing from a position of strength, Cleveland can make sure they don't just survive this storm, but come out stronger on the other side. The next few weeks will be telling, but one thing is certain, the Browns are in control, and they have a chance to turn adversity into advantage. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Word is swirling fast around the football world, and if these latest whispers are even halfway true, we might be looking at one of the biggest shakeups of the season. Rumors have erupted that two of the most high-profile names currently lighting up the gridiron, Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, have reportedly tested positive for banned substances. That's right, folks. What started as a quiet murmur in online forums is now being whispered by insiders across social media. And let's be honest, when there's this much smoke, there's usually fire. Now, nothing's been officially confirmed by the league, and of course, both players' camps are keeping tight-lipped. But the timing of this buzz is suspicious. Mid-preseason, just before crucial media days, and suddenly key stars are unavailable for interviews. It doesn't take a genius to connect the dots. Could we really be staring down the barrel of a dual suspension bombshell if Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson really have been flagged for doping? This could send absolute shockwaves through not just their teams, but the entire league. Shedeur, the face of Colorado football and a rising college star under his father Deion Sanders, has been seen as the golden boy of the NCAA. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson, despite past controversies, had been slowly working his way back into the good graces of Browns fans with steady on-field performances. A suspension for either one of them would be headline news, but both at the same time. That's more than just coincidental, it's a potential scandal. We're talking legacy-impacting consequences here, especially for Shedeur, who's on the cusp of going pro. If this rumor proves true, it could derail his draft stock overnight. For Watson, it's another blow to a career already riddled with scrutiny. The implications go far beyond just missing a few games. Now let's get into the possible reasons this could be happening. The talk on the street is that random off-season testing might have been involved, catching players when they least expected. it, and if these whispers are accurate, the substances in question weren't simple over-the-counter energy boosters. We're hearing terms like performance enhancers and even hormonal agents, which could carry suspensions ranging from several games to an entire season. Depending on the league's protocols, what makes this even juicier or messier? Depending on how you look at it, is the supposed involvement of a trainer linked to both athletes. Yep, that's right. There's chatter that both Shedeur and Deshaun may have been working out with the same off-season specialist, raising questions about whether these alleged violations were accidental, coerced, or something deeper. If investigators dig into a connection there, this could explode into a much larger controversy than anyone is prepared for, and the teens, they're staying suspiciously quiet. Colorado has issued no official statement regarding Shedeur's status, but some eagle-eyed fans noted he was absent from recent team drills, with one insider saying it was a precautionary measure. The Browns, meanwhile, claimed Deshaun Watson was taking personal time but declined to elaborate. Sounds eerily convenient, doesn't it? It's the kind of media dodging that often points to something brewing behind closed doors. If this were just an injury or a family matter, we'd likely have more transparency, but radio silence, that screams damage control. Not to mention the sudden cancellation of a scheduled joint press conference both players were expected to attend for. A commercial campaign scrapped at the last minute with no reschedule. These aren't coincidences. These are red flags flapping in the wind. The kind of signs seasoned fans recognize as the calm before a disciplinary storm. Let's not forget the business implications either. Both of these athletes have lucrative endorsement deals, no contracts in Shedeur's case, and marketing campaigns hanging in the balance. If it's confirmed that they failed a drug test, sponsors could pull the plug in a heartbeat. That's not just money lost, it's brand damage. These guys aren't just players. They're walking enterprises, and while some companies may wait for an official league ruling, many others won't want their image associated with even the rumor of doping. That's how sensitive these markets are now. Especially with younger fans and stricter media scrutiny, brand integrity matters more than ever. For Shedeur, who's built a clean, polished image under his father's legendary umbrella, a doping scandal would be devastating. For Watson, it would reinforce every negative narrative already circling his name. Either way, it's a media nightmare waiting to happen and possibly already unfolding behind the scenes. Let's zoom in on Shedeur Sanders for a second, because his trajectory has been nothing short of electric. The kid has gone from Jackson State to being the face of college football's modern renaissance at Colorado. With Deion in his corner and a whole generation of young fans rooting for him, the expectations were sky high. NFL scouts have been eyeing him for next year's draft, some projecting him as a top 10 pick, but a failed drug test that could shatter that dream or at least delay it significantly. College programs are incredibly sensitive to negative press, and a doping scandal would put Colorado under a microscope. Deion would be forced to either defend his son or distance the program from him, both of which carry massive risks. This kind of news doesn't just affect the player, it reverberates across the school, the team, the NCAA, and possibly the entire 2025 draft class. And what about Deshaun Watson? Let's not kid ourselves, the guy's been walking a tightrope since returning to the league. Every move he makes is scrutinized, every game, every interview, every tweet. He's finally started to rebuild his reputation with steady play and visible leadership. The Browns had been banking on this season as his comeback tour, but if this doping rumor turns into a confirmed case, that entire narrative collapses. His critics will be vindicated, his support base shaken, and his future with the Browns will come under immediate fire. Keep in mind, this isn't just about a suspension, it's about trust. Once a player is linked to doping, every past performance gets questioned. Every stat, every comeback win, was it real or was it chemically enhanced? That's the kind of legacy-altering doubt no player wants. For Deshaun, this could be the final straw that ends his second chance. Sources close to the situation are feeding mixed messages, which only fuels the drama. One anonymous team staffer hinted that something serious is going on, but stopped short of confirming anything. Another suggested that both players are preparing formal statements, which usually only happens when legal or league actions are imminent. Even rival players have weighed in subtly on social media. Posting cryptic emojis and messages that fans are dissecting like detectives. It's a circus, and everyone's scrambling to get ahead of the official announcement, which begs the question, if this really is just a rumor, why aren't their reps shutting it down? The silence is deafening. Usually, when false accusations fly, agents jump on them immediately. But in this case, it's been mostly crickets. That tells you something. Maybe they're waiting for final test results, maybe they're lawyering up, or maybe the rumor is closer to the truth than we think. Fans are understandably in shock. Reactions range from disbelief to full-on rage on Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok. The speculation is spiraling. Some are defending Shadur, saying it must be a mistake or a setup. Others are pointing fingers at Watson, insisting it's part of a pattern. Conspiracy theories are also flying, with some even suggesting league politics are in play, like protecting certain stars while making examples of others. There's no shortage of hot takes, but amid all the noise, one thing is clear: the football world is holding its breath. Everyone wants answers, but no one's giving them. And with training camp heating up and preseason games right around the corner, time is running out for these players to clear their names if they even can. Because once the league makes it official, there's no going back. Suspensions will be handed down, reputations will change, and fans will remember. So, is this all just rumor? Or are we watching the opening act of a full-blown scandal? That's the million-dollar question right now. Until we hear something concrete from the league or from the players themselves, we're left piecing together breadcrumbs. But let's be real, this isn't just smoke, it's a smoldering fire with serious heat. If Shadur Sanders and Deshaun Watson really are facing suspensions for doping, the fallout could be historic. We're talking about the cornerstone athletes, both vital to their respective teams and futures, suddenly sidelined not by injury or personal choice but by a decision that calls everything into question: the integrity of the sport, the trust of fans, the future of young stars. Everything hangs in the balance until we know for sure. This remains the story on everyone's lips. And if the hammer drops, the sports world won't just react, it will erupt. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!